Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk, guys. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of World of Tanks. We got a new submitter. It is the Lawless Desperado. That's good. That's the name. Lawless Desperado from Clan Sankey? That is a clan I've never heard of, actually. That's a new one on me in all the years. So he's in his 430U object, 430U Russian bias machine. As a general rule, I steer away from a lot of replays of the standard overpowered tanks, and this is certainly one of them. However, this replay has a great example. In fact, it's got a couple of great examples, one good, one bad, of pressing bad situations. Something I definitely have a problem with. I like to think that I can extricate myself from most bad situations. Holy cow, that E50 just drove up and nailed the Lawless Desperado right in the side. As you can see, this is a developing bad situation. Two tanks, albeit hold down. There's two guys up here, the 121, the E50. Now we've got the Progetto 65 up above. And pretty quickly, there's going to be a fourth tank that's going to show. It looks like Desperado's, considering his options, sees the fourth guy show up. No backup coming up. And early on says, I am out. So lesson number one, no sense in pushing bad situations. Obviously, there's critical terrain, there's places you need to hold, there are situations where you may want to hold. In that particular case, that was not one of them. You can see that Centurion was not able to get away. So he's going to completely reposition, head over here, and look to help his more powerful side deal with these guys really quickly. So we're going to come up in here, and all of a sudden he says, oh, wait a minute, those guys are coming down the hill. And so he comes back over here. Now, the bad example is the enemy team now pushing a bad situation. There's a Progetto right there. They know the 430U went down here. There's the near-dead Pantera. Now a Scorpion G is coming, and for some reason, the enemy team, who had a great situation up there, decides to push a bad situation into a crossfire and just eats crap. I mean, just eats as much crap as they can possibly eat and just starts eating more crap. Watch how long this Pantera manages to live up here. It's actually pretty impressive. Nice shooting by Lawless Desperado. Desperado. All right, that's all I got. That's all I got. But the Lawless Desperado, now this is going to be interesting. He actually gets into an over-angled side with heat on, I think, spaced armor. I don't know. Don't ask me how it worked. I don't know. Then this guy just says, hey, shoot me in the gut, and he does. Watch what goes on here. I thought he was going after the hatch. He's doing a really nice job with hold down, just showing his hole. The enemy 430U is trying to figure out what to do. He takes a quick stab at the hatch. I think it's this next shot that's very interesting. Watch what goes on here. Of course, he's pressed 2. And I was a little bit curious about what he was trying to do. I'm like, no, surely you're not trying to go at the turret. Just to the right side of the mantlet, it's flatter than the rest of the turret. And he was able to punch his heat straight through that. That was a really nice job as far as picking a shot. 340 pin is quite a lot. So there you go. You can pin the turret of the 430U if you know what you're doing. It was a really nice job right there. So he's trying to figure out how to get this guy dead. The Emilsit 2 says, I know how, and he just drives on in. Unfortunately, the Pantera died. Killed from behind by a sneaky Conqueror. The Conqueror actually sneaks in there. Of course, artillery says you're not that sneaky and gets rid of him. So you're not that. Speaking of sneaky, here's the last reason coming up that I wanted to show this video. This is great. They're in a great spot, right? They've got 2 tier 10 mediums, although one of them's pretty beat up, right? Progetto, yep, he's nearly dead. Pretty good hit points left for Lawless Desperado at 2,927 damage. But watch what happens here. This one got me the first time. I actually had to reverse it after it happened to see what goes on. But I'm going to let it go. You may notice what happened, and then I'm going to mention what it was that happened. Have I really built that up? And it's going to be super interesting. All right, here we go. Here comes the STA-1. He eats a shot right through the turret. That actually has a pretty decent turret. But he just gets schwammered into the turret, and we got a kind of long reload for a medium, but he whacks the STA-1 one more time, keeping his front armor to him. Guy gets by him, and then, but whoa, the Artie hit him. Holy cow. Okay, so then he shoots that guy, and he's going to go punish Artie, right? He just got hit by the enemy Artie. So he is off to punish that guy. That. All right, hold on. I don't know if you noticed this. Hold on, here we go. Oh, speaking of sneaky, what the heck? What? You gotta love that, man. Look at this. Look at this. This is the king of battle. You have to respect that, all right? The T-92 came into the brawling zone and ambushes our hero. Wham! And I'm not sure that he's gonna have to let us know down in the comments, but I'm pretty sure that Lawless Desperado did not really notice that the Artie was right there, and he's probably looking over at the lineup up there on the right. It's over here. He's like, wait a minute, where'd that Artie go? He hit me. And then he probably realized it was actually behind him, because he's no longer in the enemy rolls. You turn around and there's the carcass. I thought that was great. That got me, right? The whole sequence of him fighting the STA-1 the first time I watched, and then he starts headed towards the Artie. I was about to say, okay, what I need to talk about when I get into doing my voiceover, I need to talk about how he really probably needed to go take on those guys first before worrying about artillery. And then I got looking at it, and then I looked back at the battle roll, and I'm thinking, where'd the artillery go? How did he die? And I actually paused it, and I'm looking around. Well, no green guys went up to where the artillery was. I had to back it up, and then it was then that I finally realized the Artie was actually up behind him. That was awesome. Look at that shot. Just sneaks one right in there. The Caernarfon would have done a lot better. Well, never mind. Now he's just dead. He probably would have done a lot better to have pushed down and hit his hole behind this dead Emil and tried to shoot this guy a couple times and maybe bounce a few. But it didn't matter because he got thumped by the 261. We have some crazy Arties in this one. Even the green Artie moved up and got crazy. That was great, man. Hey, thanks for that replay. 5,000 damage. Nicely done. 454 assist. 1,500 blocked. I was going to say fix your driver, but you can't because your kits are used at the moment. And a pretty good example, 2 examples of don't continue to push a bad situation. There's no problem with falling back, maybe going back to where your strong push is. And watch for the enemy doing the same. If they push a bad situation, punish them for it. There was no reason the enemy had to come off that hill. I think they probably thought, all right, we're flanking, but they weren't paying attention. And in particular on this map, coming down this funnel here, when there's still that many tanks in the game, you will find some here and you will find some here, and you're going to get yourself in the crossfire, and that is not the place to be. All right, guys, that's all I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in. Well done there. Lawless Desperado. I got to go. See y'all later.